Hello and welcome to the New England Free Jacks Midnight Ride series. This is episode 1. Welcome to New England as we delve into one of the Eastern Conference teams in Major League Rugby. I'm Dallen Stanford, a former USA Sevens Eagle and current World Rugby Commentator. Originally from Cape Town, South Africa, but I've been in the US for the past 17 years. And earlier this year, my wife and I moved from California to Massachusetts. We're here to experience all that Boston has to offer, and that's how I'm connected to the amazing Free Jacks organization. Today's show, we'll talk to head coach Ryan Martin all the way from New Zealand, players Dougie Fife, who's in Scotland currently, Stephen Hinshaw and Kyle Ciquera, known as the Mullet. And we'll hear from Chief Executive Alex Magleby, Performance Manager Tom Kindley, and all-round guru/player Ollie Engelhart. Plus, we have some merchandise to drop and some things to give away. This is an interactive show, so please pop in your questions. This jersey is up for grabs. It's the inaugural jersey from the 2020 season. All you need to do to win this sleek sensation is to like all our social media profiles and to share this on Facebook with your friends and your family. Well, firstly, let's give a little brief history of Major League Rugby, which was formed shortly after Pro Rugby went one professional season and then folded in 2016. But what MLR did differently was having each team owned separately, and that's what they based their model on Major League Soccer. So MLR started in 2018 with 7 teams. The final was contested between the Glendale Raptors and Seattle Seawolves. Seawolves won the inaugural championship 23-19, scoring in the final seconds. It was a thriller. Then in 2019, we saw the league add 2 new teams, Rugby United New York, and then from Canada, the Toronto Arrows. The final that year was another nail-biter, Seawolves defeating the San Diego Legion 26-23. And then, of course, in 2020, we all got drop-kicked in the face. But this year, though, the league went from 9 to 12 teams. We added Rugby ATL from Atlanta, Old Glory from Washington, D.C., and the New England Free Jacks. Probably your favorite side. We also saw one of the teams drop out. That was the Colorado Raptors. But they now host the governing body, USA Rugby, at their beautiful Infinity Park Stadium, and they'll look to host women's and men's internationals. One of the controversial decisions this year was the renaming, though, of the Austin franchise from the Austin Herd to the Austin Gilgronis, a soon-to-be made-up Texas-sized cocktail. One of the exciting developments, though, was the collegiate draft. Lots of young talent getting picked up by various Major League Rugby teams. As we look ahead, Season 4, it's planned to kick off March 20, 2021, and we'll see 2 additional teams starting up in the Dallas Jackals and the Los Angeles Guiltinis. Yes, another drink from the same owners that gave us the Gilgronis. Now, despite 13 teams in the league, there'll be 6 on the East Coast and 7 on the West Coast. They'll play 16 matches, 8 home and 8 away. The Eastern champion will play the Western champion on August 1st. You can catch it on CBS Sports Network, Fox Sports 2, ESPN in the USA, and TSN in Canada. And local networks as well as online will be available. Keep updated. Go to majorleague.rugby. And don't forget, today you can win all that merch. Let's open up to our first guest on Free Jacks Live. It's the legend that is Alex Magleby. Despite his ginger hair, he's a plethora of remarkable achievements in the space. The former US Eagle captain, former USA Sevens Eagle head coach. He's a longtime barber. He's also been with Dartmouth Rugby for many years, director of rugby there as well. He's the current chief executive of the New England Free Jacks. Some say he's like Madonna, known by his single name. Mags, welcome to the show, my friend.
Good to be on, Dallen. Thanks for having us. Thanks for doing this. This is pretty cool.
Well, let's get straight to it, my friend. You're a unicorn on social media. What, how, why?
So first of all, I'm under this is a great reminder never to be in the shadow of a Rooney Rooster, right? So good friends off the field, but fierce rivals on the field. That's why I got my trusty Lex horse here with me, but you're talking about unicorns. They were really, really important to the American Revolution. I don't think you knew, but Paul Revere, William Dawes, perhaps even Sybil Ludington rode around not on quarter horses, but on unicorns. So it's an important part of our history. They say when George Washington crossed the Delaware, it was a cloud of purple and pink. So I don't think he was on a Morgan horse. He was probably also on a unicorn. How did you cross the Delaware? I came across a rainbow on a unicorn.
See, if you need to catch more of this, go to Magleby on Instagram. If you need your daily laugh, I mean, how many other CEOs compete with that? 0, my friend. Sure. Let's talk Free Jack. So what's the background, the founding of this MLR side?
Absolutely. I think my partner and I, Eric Anderson, who originally started this, we wanted to do everything we possibly could to share the game. I had spent two decades with USA Rugby in various capacity, as well as Dartmouth. And we thought burning it really hot at the local level, we'd be able to share the game with more people. and able to open up more doors for young girls and boys to be able to participate and make the experience better for those who are already participating at the adult level. So that's what we set out to do, and we thought a professional, aspirational franchise would be able to do so. And I think we've learned over the last 2 years that that's exactly what's happening. We've got a great crew, and we've got an awesome group of fans and founding members that are really pushing us forward and pushing this organization forward. So that's the really exciting part about it.
Yeah, and speaking of growing the game, the Free Jacks, people want to get behind it, but what does it represent?
Yeah, for us, it's a common person doing really well, just being fiercely independent, but being humble, exceptionally hardworking, being savvy about how they work. So certainly performing and having a bit of fun, and that's just the New England way. That's always been the case here in New England, and I think that's what the club was really set out to represent and try to live to those values and behavior norms on a regular basis.
And Meg, sorry to interrupt, you guys didn't get a lot of game time, obviously, in this opening season to showcase your product, particularly for your home fans. You played your first initial games away. So from your perspective, can you give us like a New England review of the inaugural season?
Yeah, absolutely. We came into the MLR as a member in September of 2018. Within a month, we were playing an exhibition game in Canada against Toronto Arrows. And we said at the time we want to spend the next year plus getting punched in the mouth and learning everything we possibly could on the field and off the field, developing our local talent as much as we possibly could, player ranks and staff ranks. And we've learned a lot of lessons going and doing that, and we've really improved the local talent. And our coaches did a fantastic job, given that they'd had limited experience. In 2020, we were welcomed to the MLR on the road for the first 5 matches. We had some significant injuries there at the beginning. Despite being on the road, we scored the most tries in the MLR and played a pretty exciting brand of rugby. And I think just, big hat tip to the players for creating that. And there were probably some moments there that we would want to take back. You just showed that highlight from the Utah game. Utah really played well that game. And, we had 3 frontline props out that game, and we struggled in the scrums a bit, and 2 couple of key cards with some disciplinary issues, and that was the game. The great thing about MLR is the parity. Anybody can win on any given day, and they're usually typically pretty high scoring, a lot of action. The ball moves a lot, and so that's exactly how it played out for us in those 5 matches. Biggest disappointment, of course, is not being able to share that at home with our fans. We were approaching the sellout for our inaugural match, St. Paddy's weekend, and that was tough. But we're so looking forward to 21 where we can actually do that. That's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, let's talk about 21. What sort of direction and what developments have you focused on recently, obviously with the shortened season?
So for 21, we really just been able to, you never get that reset, right? When you're in the middle of something, you're like, oh, wait a minute, let's reevaluate how we're doing. You evaluate as you go, but actually having the time and space to evaluate, making sure we're really driving towards our values as a company and doing everything we possibly can to do so. And I think you saw that, we rolled out the virtual academy and had multiple participants in that, free coaching webinars. We were able to launch our Real Academy and start that moving forward. And that's really about increasing participation and improving the experience for those who are already participating, working with our local clubs. There's almost 285 rugby organizations in the New England area, and just helping those organizations have a better experience. And that's what we've set out to do with the Academy. And hat tip to TK and Ollie and the rest of the Academy staff. They're traipsing throughout New England, making safe experiences happen during the pandemic, and doing an awesome job of that, and just providing that release for young men and women and adults as well. That's been very cool to see, and we're just super excited for 21. I think the team continues to improve on the roster side, and we've got a fantastic coach and Coach Marta, the mustache, coming on board. Great pedagogical skill, great teacher, just a great human. And we're really excited to welcome Ryan and have all our fans welcome Ryan into the fold here and help to continue to move this thing forward.
Max, I also love your work in the community. Now, luckily, the community is not relying on your mustache during November, because I really can't see anything there. Now, again, I wasn't part of the competition, so you can't come back at me with that.
Yeah. I think I won mullets and mustaches 2 months ago. I think I declared myself the winner, and it was because of the cutoff with the jorts. I think that made a difference. I haven't been able to keep up with the qualityness of what Ryan can do just overnight with that beautiful mustache.
It's glorious. We'll get back to him in a little bit. So let's touch on some of the content things you guys are creating. Really enjoying your podcast, Full Context CEO. What will listeners get hearing out of that from the Unicorn?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's been, we're having these experiences already. We're sharing, we're learning from what other sports and entertainment businesses are doing, so we might as well share that. And for us, that's that transparency is really important to our fans, to ensure that they understand where we are and where we're not, and where we're trying to learn as best we possibly can, because it's really their experiences that are the most important. So sharing those lessons as we try to build and create best case practices with our fans is a really, really important piece. And that's been really important. We have the 3 different podcast verticals, kind of all different parts of our business, and that'll continue. We just wrapped up season 1 of Full Contact CEO, and we got some really exciting guests coming up in season 2 here in the next month that we're excited to announce here pretty shortly.
Brilliant. And then the final question for you, Mags. What message you'd like to get out to the rugby community in general, but then also to the local community here?
I think for us, it's the local community especially is what rugby offers, and certainly what the Free Jacks offer is just a great experience. You come, you get this intense game on the field that's fast flowing but physical, that has a lot of chess pieces to move, but it's that duality that I think is really, really cool about our sport. And then, in the stadium, we're cheering on when good things happen, no matter who does it. Like I said, with Rooney, the Roosters, fierce rivals on the field, but really good friends off the field, and that's what rugby does, right? It's like it's the ultimate in sport and competitiveness, and we're just really excited to share that in our whole festival atmosphere, not only with our rugby community who so deserve it after all these years, but also with our growing non-rugby community that's really adding to the whole mix.
Well, Mags, you're the smartest person on this call. I want to thank you for joining us on Free Jacks Live. We'll let you get back to your TikTok and whatever else you get up to there with the onesies.
Dallen, thanks. Good to have you. Cheers.
Awesome. Alex Magleby, absolute sensation there. And if you're just joining us, welcome to Free Jacks Live. Make sure if you have any questions, pop it in the chat. We're going to hear later from head coach Ryan Martin, players Kyle Ciquera, Stephen Hinshaw, and Dougie Fife in a bit. And we're going to get some sleek kit given away to you. Make sure that you share this on Facebook for a chance to win a couple of items. But before we get to that, let's get the New England performance manager, Tom Kindley. Tom's American Kiwi, and his name suggests is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Good old TK. He has been growing his stash as well in Movember, is in full swing. Look at that growth from last night, my friend.
How good, mate. I'm reluctant to get rid of the beard, though, because, it's getting chilly here in Boston, mate, so I want to keep warm.
Well, it did snow recently over time, so you're looking good there. Plus, you've got a bunch of gear behind you to keep you warm also.
Yeah, we got the new line. I think Ollie's going to speak to that in a moment. But, pretty exciting, really, mate. It's looking really, really sharp. Got the new polo on here, so it's good stuff.
Well, TK, let's kick it off, my friend. USA Rugby High Performance Pathways. They have 8 newly verified national development programs called NDPs, including the Free Jacks, and the only other MR side, San Diego Legion. What does that verification mean?
Yeah, Dallen, mate, really exciting. Basically, it means that, we're a NDP or a national development program or pathway that USA Rugby are going to lean on. Obviously, we've got a massive pool of very talented players in our region. So they're going to lean on us to develop those players. We're going to be building out our pathway right from our youth learn to play systems through high school, our U16, U18, U20, into the collegiate game and into the club game. So we're really going to harness the talent in New England, and we're going to be communicating with USA Rugby as to, players that should be up for selection with the U18s, U20s, whatever it may be. Whatever level it may be. So really excited about that, and I think you'll probably see a lot of Major League Rugby teams follow suit in the near future.
And then, my friend, the Free Jacks organization, you've been extremely busy in the local community. Can you outline some of the academy items that you're running?
Yeah, so thanks to the brilliance of our CEO, Alex Magleby, we've come out with our RTG system regional training group. So we've got 13 groups across New England. We've been lucky to get to 7 of those to date. You see us in Portland, Maine there, Connecticut there. So we've been all across New England. We've databased 300 plus athletes to date, which has been magic across all levels, boys and girls, men and women. And what we're looking to do is develop players, particularly the skill element, but also identify talent. So that's looking at, how do they execute on core skills and physical performance as well. We're finding a few specimens physically across the region that we're going to be bringing into our programs across various levels. So really exciting times for us, and a great time for us to get right across New England.
And then, of course, with COVID-19, that has changed the way we do everything. So how have you and your staff kind of adapted to that new world?
Yeah, we have had some pretty drastic changes. So we've got small groups. We typically work in groups of 10 or less, depending on the state. Masks for coaches at all times. We have hand sanitation upon arrival, screening upon arrival. Participation form must be filled out prior to the event. So it's really rigorous, and health and safety is definitely the key for us. We want to make sure before we get into the rugby, we nail those health and safety elements. And we've managed to do so quite successfully to date. So yeah, we're just doing what we can do given the current climate.
And then talking about those 13 regional areas that you guys are working in, will they eventually play against each other, or what are the plans there?
Yeah, I think, long term, I'd say first and foremost, we're never going to replace the clubs, colleges, or high schools. We're none of those things. We're an additive, supportive network for those teams and clubs in our region, clubs, schools, colleges to lean on and to be supported by. So eventually, I think 5-10 years down the line, at a representative level, they may compete against each other. But for the time being, what you're more likely to see is going to be a North versus South, under 18, under 20, independence game, all-star game of sorts, and then you're going to see us competing against the Eastern Conference teams. So the likes of Rooney, Toronto, at those levels, boys and girls. So really exciting times, and we're really just getting our toes dug into the grass and getting moving on our academy system. But we're going to see some pretty exciting stuff in the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, it's raining rugby balls in New England, not snow, luckily. Let's talk briefly, though, about getting more girls involved and women into these programs. Yeah,
so we've had a lot of interest from collegiate coaches that are asking, hey, who are the talented players that are coming to these events? We want to see them. We've been linking up players to some of our notable programs up here with Harvard and Dartmouth. So we've been reaching out to those coaches and directing some players in those directions. So the women's varsity or collegiate game is really exciting at the moment. There are 21 varsity programs across America. So we want to make sure that we're making girls aware that there are these opportunities, which is really, really cool. And we just had our first girls only learn to play event at Bedford, Mass on the weekend. So we really want to make sure that everything we do for boys, we do for girls as well. We've got some talented girls in this region, really dedicated, and we're pumped to, give them some exposure and get them playing at a high level.
And listen, pal, you put quite a lot of miles on your horse in recent times, getting all over the community. Some personal highlights for you working with the Free Jacks?
Yeah, I think personal highlights for me, it's always I'd start with our coaching group, actually. We've got a dedicated group of 25 coaches, majority of those volunteer who come along, and without them we couldn't run this and we couldn't do this. So we get a whole different range of perspectives, and we've got males, females, club players, college players alike, Free Jacks coaching our academy system. So that's really cool, definitely a highlight for me. Other highlights, I think just seeing the development take place throughout the session. So we look at 6 core key skills that head coach Ryan Martin sort of developed for us in these assessments, and we do that right from the ground up. And the progression that takes place from A to B, start of the session to end of the session, has been really quite phenomenal, and the smiles on the faces, of course. So I guess people falling in love with the game is, the ultimate highlight and what we're loving here.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some questions coming in as well. People on the chat are firing away, which is awesome. So Gregor Galway says, what is the New England Free Jacks aim for the season ahead? Okay, TK, are you able to handle that?
Sure can, mate. Yeah, so 2021, as Mags touched on, we had a interesting first season. We had those 5 games, performed well at times. We scored 34 tries, I believe, highest try scorers of the competition. So we showed we can play at that level. We just need to add a bit more consistency at that level. And, we had a bit of turnover in our roster, so you will see a couple changes. But I think the academy system will also help build depth in the New England Free Jacks organisation and club. And, I think you'll see us just go from strength to strength, and probably with head coach Ryan Martin coming in, some pretty innovative attacking systems and shapes, and some yummy tries as well.
Yeah, we'll have him on the show in a little bit, my friend. And then a couple last things for you. What are your plans for the rest of November/December with the academy?
Yeah, so we're going to continue with our RTGs. So I think we're in Cohasset this weekend in South Mass. So 2 big events taking place there, one of those indoors, one outdoors. We head up to New Hampshire to see the Granite Hammers up there. So that should be a good shift up in New Hampshire. And then we'll have a couple more added to that fray. Into December, we'll look at heading indoors and potentially looking at players of regional interest that we've identified from across the region and getting them down to Massachusetts to do some high performance training heading into the new year. Obviously, 2021, we've got player arrivals into February. February 1st, majority of our players will arrive, but we'll see some domestic players beginning to train in coming months as well. So that's going to be really exciting.
Really good to see TK. Well, before we let you go, quick question here from Kylie Minogue. Can we see TK's stash again? So can you lean forward? Can we just get another look at that stash?
Yeah, I need to get with the rest, mate, but
yeah,
I'll be showing up by Mardos pretty quickly.
Well, TK, you're a great sport, my friend. Thanks for joining us here. You know, even though you've been running like a park car on the field, get back to it, my champion, and make sure you can stay tuned. You're going to win some great merch. Get on our socials. Make sure you're sharing this on Facebook as well. Thanks to your time, TK.
Cheers, Dallen. Right. Amazing, mate. Top man.
Cheers, pal. So if you're tuning in right now and you just joined us, it's the Free Jacks live show. We've got insightful questions coming in. Keep those in the chat. We're giving away some amazing gear later, as we said. We'll get to speak to some of our players, Kyle Ciquera and Stephen Hinshaw, and Dougie Fife as well. But joining us, incoming coach of the New England Free Jacks, Ryan Martin, all the way from New Zealand. So he might be a few days behind us here with those time zones. He'll be catching up in just a few seconds. There he is, my friend. And that is gorgeous. How are you keeping that side, my friend?
Good, thank you. Yeah, no, early start over here, 4 a.m. But no, great to be on the show. It's awesome content.
Well, listen, pal, we're really excited to finally get you over this side. I know you'll probably be joining us early next year. COVID, of course, has us all stuck a little bit. But let's touch back on some of your experiences. You know, some of the best coaches we know in the world have come from school teaching backgrounds. What elements do you think bring that into the professional coaching environment? Because you were a teacher for, 17 years or so, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I was in education for 17 years at a variety of levels, at primary, intermediate, and also high school level over here in New Zealand. And I think the biggest difference for me when I went into professional rugby coaching is I quickly realised on a Monday when the team assembles for the preparation for the upcoming match, essentially you're just in a race to learn with the opposite team. So that's where I believe educationalists and teachers maybe have a one-up in terms of we have a really clear understanding around the learning styles required and what's the best way to get your team to learn the content for the week. And I think for me that's maybe why teachers do pretty well around coaching, because essentially teaching and coaching are the same thing.
Yeah, you're so right, you know. And speaking of teaching, Richie McCaw was one of the greatest players to have ever graced the field. And I know that a little known fact is that you captained Otago Boys High School ahead of the All Blacks legend. You were scrum off in those days. We even have the footage right here popping up the screen. Can you give us some memories from this time period?
No, that was a really special time, actually. This is the National New Zealand Secondary Schools final. So we're playing Rotorua Boys High School. And we ended up having a 5-all draw. So that's Richie there going off the maul. Interestingly, Craig Newby was the open side flanker for Rotorua Boys matching up against Richie, so he became an All Black as well. And also Tom Donnelly was a lock who would become an All Black, and Filippo Levy, who was playing for us, went on to captain Manu Samoa. So there's 5 international players in that match. But it was a pretty special moment for us. It was the first time a South Island team had made the National Schools final. And interestingly enough, Richie McCaw was the sole try scorer for us in the game. But yeah, he was awesome to play with. This is the try that we scored. So Richie's at the back of the maul there, and I'm clapping the boys on it at halfback there to get them through.
Did I see some blonde streaks in your hair there as well?
Yeah, I think I was an innovator of bringing the blonde streaks into the hair. So I'll take that over 2 decades ago. Now you're seeing it come through now.
And listen, there's a rumor that when you applied for the Free Jacks position, all you put in your resume was that clip, just a link to the video.
Yeah, well, if you've captained the best, surely that gives you a one-up on anyone else that's in an interview process.
Coach, listen, so let's get to Super Rugby. It's one of the most grueling competitions in the world. Can you tell us a bit about how it was like working with the Melbourne Rebels, and also expand on the unique role you held with them?
Yeah, so the Rebels was fantastic. The coaching group had a real international flavour. So running the forwards was Jeff Parling, so he played for obviously the British Irish Lions in England. Dave Vessels was our head coach from South Africa, obviously myself from New Zealand, and we had Sean Byrne, who was the Wallabies attack coach as well from Australia. So there's a real international flavour to our coaching group. And essentially my role was around kicking strategy and skills, and it kind of just evolved into running all areas of the game and helping out where I could. It was a fantastic environment to work with. Bearing in mind you're working with Reece Hodge, Matt Tamor, Dane Hallock-Petty, Marika Kurambedi in the back. So it was a pretty exciting time for me, and I actually really enjoyed my time in Melbourne. And obviously COVID shut us down, so I had to come back to New Zealand. And then the second part of the season, I was just working online for them, and I really enjoyed that process as well. Kind of designing your drills and sending them over through the internet was a pretty cool experience.
And then, pal, listen, with Otago moving across to that, how's that season going?
Yeah, so we're into the business end of our season now. We've played 9 rounds. We've got 1 round left, which we finished this week with Tasman, and then we're guaranteed playoffs. So we've won 6 and lost 3. We're currently sitting second on the table. So we've guaranteed a home semi-final, which is pretty special for us. We've got an awesome indoor stadium here, which kind of dictates the way we can play. Obviously, it's a hard and fast surface and always a dry ball, so we can put a bit of air on it. So yeah, we're just moving into playoffs after this week, and we're pretty happy with how our season's gone to date. We've scored some pretty awesome tries, and I think we're sitting first for average carry meters across the competition. So I'm pretty ecstatic how the attack's going at the moment.
Well, the Free Jacks love scoring tries, as you know, from studying the film from this past season. So they can't wait to have you this side. I will say the world is jealous. You guys in New Zealand, and of course, the neighboring Australia as well, watching all those international games, watching the All Blacks, the Wallabies play, and here we are, mostly just still isolating on this side.
Yeah, it's been a pretty special time for New Zealand. Obviously, we went into full lockdown. When I came back from Melbourne back to New Zealand, it was the night before we went into our big lockdown, and it was literally tumbleweeds going down the street. You just wouldn't see anybody. There's no cars, and it was quite a surreal experience. But interestingly, all the teams, the Super Rugby teams at the time, were obviously all training at home, the players individually. And what was probably a little bit of an anomaly is when they came back and completed their fitness testing after the lockdown, the players are actually fitter than they were then working 3 months with professional fitness trainers. So and their bodies were feeling really good. So there was actually something in that. I found that quite hilarious.
I did see those stats. I wish us locals could say the same thing. Meanwhile, not at all.
Yeah.
Let's talk about New England. So you're on a 3-year contract. So firstly, what excites you about your American adventure?
Well, firstly, I've never been to America, so that's really exciting for me. Rugby's given me a vehicle to travel around the world, and this is just another part of that adventure. So that really excites me. Secondly, obviously looking at with Mags and TK, how passionate they are around New England, and some of the developments at the coalface of rugby is what really excites me as well. I'm massive around people seeing a pathway to the professional world, and that's what really excited me around the Free Jacks. I think they're passionate about the coalface as much as they are at the professional arm of the game. So I'm really excited around some of the developments and work we can do with the local players in the community. And secondly, the MLR as an entity is obviously it's like a very young startup business, and it's exciting. The developments that are happening in the competition. I love the model of ownership, and the eyes definitely over here in Australia and New Zealand are really intrigued around the competition, and I think you're seeing with the calibre of players who are looking to play their rugby over there is a massive thumbs up to what's happening in the competition at the time. So that's pretty exciting. I think we're on the cusp of what could potentially be a world class competition.
Yeah, it certainly is. The world is watching, which is so great. Now, speaking of those players playing here, you've got some great local international players signed so far that have been released. One of them this week was Japanese legend Kenny Hatakeyama. But can you tell a bit more about the makeup and what sort of player are you looking for in your squad?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I was appointed head coach, obviously I went to the market to start bolstering up our roster. And the biggest thing for me was looking at players of character, so who were going to come into the environment and add value to the organisation, not just to the team. And I wanted to bring in players that had a pretty good professional experience elsewhere and be able to come in and work with everybody and kind of build a day-to-day professionalism around what we do. And I think that rubbing shoulders with your really good professional rugby players helps lift everybody. So that was kind of the first thing I was looking at, is players of good values who are able to come in and be part of a pretty special organisation, not just a rugby team. Secondly, for me, rugby, to be able to play an attacking style of rugby, you need to have some pretty good muscle up front. There's no hiding from the fact. I've gone out to get some pretty big meat in the forward pack, which will allow us to play a style of rugby that probably hasn't been seen before. We're excited around the players that are coming in, especially around, as I mentioned before, around their character and the value they'll add to the community as much as the team.
Yeah, that's very exciting to see some of the meat coming in here. And we've got some more questions firing in here from our folks on the chat. One for you. So there it is. So what brand of rugby will Ryan bring to New England? So yeah, just touch a bit on that again, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so when I was in Melbourne, we were lucky enough to share the field with the Melbourne Storm, who obviously just won the NRL, Australian Rugby League competition. And I took a lot from the way they play the game and how they attack. So we're going to be looking to use like every centimetre on the field. It's a concept I call making the field big. So the opposition has to mark basically every metre on that field. And that's through being a true triple threat team. So passing, running and kicking. So for me, that's going to be a real trademark of the way we play. And it's going to be an exciting brand of rugby. But as I mentioned before, the fundamentals of us being able to do that happen with some of the big meat up front. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see some of these big fellas opening their legs up.
Yeah, we saw in the World Tens, we saw Josh Larson in the midfield, lock forward, kicking for the corner. That was very exciting indeed. Let's see if we've got any more questions here from the audience flying in. There is Coach Martin. What sort of cultural challenge do you see coming to the sleeping giant of world rugby and so many other professional systems already so ingrained?
I think that's an exciting part for me, that there's obviously with so many sports that have a professional arm in the game over there at a variety of levels. There's so many learnings from why are they successful, why is their sport successful, why is their fan base so big. I think there's just so many learnings around some of those successful entities I think that's a really exciting part for me around what can rugby do, what can we learn from what's happened before with the other sports, and why do they have such a massive foothold and a fan base, and what's exciting about their sport. So I think for me, that's what really excites me about what's happening in America, especially with your sports, just the way the fans are so engaged. And I think that's what I'm excited about around learning why is that and how can we implement that with what we're trying to do.
Well, Coach Ryan Martin, we really appreciate your time. We're super excited to see you here early next year. Go on and win another championship there in Otago. We're wishing you the best.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me on.
Take care, pal. Lovely stuff. All right, time now for two local players who with the Free Jacks right from the start. Kyle Ciquera, he is probably the most gorgeous looking Free Jack that we've ever met. He's got personalized gear ranging from a fake mullet to a hat, a shirt, a cup and everything. And Stephen Hinshaw also has a brilliant shirt. He's wearing it right now. It's Boston Fed and Beach Bread. That's right. How are you boys doing?
Oh, just great. How are you?
Wonderful. Well, I see you were in the car earlier. Now you're in the bushes there. You're taking a break from your day job. Quickly tell us what's your day job.
Yeah. Right now I'm on on the water. I'm working on an oyster farm, so just taking a little break outside, enjoying the nice fall weather we have going on here.
That's brilliant. Okay, let's kick it off with Stephen. Stephen, can you share some of your background into your early baseball career and how you found rugby, my friend?
There we are. Sorry about that.
No worries, pal. So tell us a bit about your baseball background and how you ended up picking up a rugby ball for the first time.
Yeah. So, when I was 5 years old, picked up a baseball for the first time, and pitching basically became my life. So, grew up in Southern California and San Diego, and like Texas and like Florida, they have very competitive youth sports programs there. So, I was pitching 3 days during the week and then traveling on weekends to go pitch somewhere up the coast on Saturday and Sunday. So I definitely got a taste of the high performance environment as a kid, all the way to going on college visits, including to Dartmouth, where I eventually went. Ended up running into some issues with my shoulder playing football in high school. So the pitching dream came to a sudden end. But yeah, once I got onto campus at Dartmouth, no sports to play. It was actually one of the kids on my floor who had been out at rugby practice and just kind of convinced me to come out. So the rest is history with Mags and James Willix over there at Dartmouth.
Yeah, I love how folks switch across from other sports, which is very unique. And Kyle, you're known as the Eagle. You ate a rugby ball. Sorry, I mean you picked up a rugby ball a bit earlier in high school here, and that's a photo.
Oh, no.
Look at that eagle in the middle. What happened, my friend? And that's your merch over there. You can see the shirt. It is absolutely legendary. You've got a replica mullet you can get as well to store, and we'll put up those links a bit later as well. But Eagle, what's it like playing on the wing, my friend? He's dropping in and out. So let's go back to you, Stephen. Let's talk about some of the front row players. Yesterday we saw Kenny Hatakeyama confirmed for the Free Jacks again for 2021. What does he bring to the team? Yeah,
so Kenny's a guy that, with it being my rookie year last year, was somebody I really looked up to. Not just on the field, but every time we'd come into the Forge in the morning, getting ready for a day of practice, Kenny is the first guy that would come up to you, greet you with a big smile. He's a legend over in Japan, a huge celebrity, and yet he was coming over to an unknown guy like me, giving me a little talk in the morning, and just seeing his smile. It's those little conversations and communications with Kenny that I think make him the legend that he is.
And then, Kyle, you're back in the mix there. I know that Tiger King was calling you, so that's why you were popping off there. Let's talk about your opening match in franchise history earlier this year. You guys faced New York and Las Vegas. It went well for the Ford Pack in that game. Can you tell us a bit about that? Stephen, why don't you give us your thoughts?
Take this one down. Yeah, sure. So, showing up in Las Vegas, it was a new experience for all of us. Obviously, first year for the Free Jacks and MLR. I think what I remember most from that game was just the pure excitement that all the boys had running onto the field, and obviously playing our rival Rooney. I think we had a statement to make, and I think in that game we did make that statement, and built up a little bit of momentum, relationships between the boys. And I think it was a really good kind of foundation to start off in our first game, getting off on the right foot and start building those relationships between the guys on the field.
Yeah, it was pretty electric. We saw some bizarre things in that game. One of them was probably the freakiest try I've ever seen, with the ball bouncing off the post. You guys follow up at scoring. I mean, talk about Vegas and gambling and craziness. I mean, what was going through your guys' mind? Just roll the punches. Stephen, I'm sure they'll play it here, but from you guys' point of view, I mean, you guys shot to a soaring lead against your rivals there.
Yeah, so I think coming out to an early lead, obviously a few things went our way. We'll see on this free kick here that one thing really big went our way. But yeah, I think it was kind of just the pure energy that the boys brought out that day. Momentum was on our side, and little plays like this with that Vegas luck, we were able to come out on top. I think we showed a bit of our attacking style of play in this match. Obviously, the next few games in MLR didn't go our way, and we have some things that came up that we need to work on. But I think this was a great way to get off on the right foot and show the fans the excitement that we can bring to the game.
Yeah, speaking of those fans, you guys didn't get a chance, you said, to play at home. What will it be like next year when you get an opportunity to run out at Union Point Stadium, Stephen?
Yeah, so I think that was one of the biggest disappointments of last year is showing up on Thursday to the Forge, getting ready for our Saturday match, which was the first one in front of our wonderful fans out in New England, which everybody was so excited for. And that was the day that actually we were told to shut it down because of COVID and the pandemic, obviously for good reason. But I think that was the moment that everybody was waiting for, was the ability to actually go out, interact with our fans who we've been hearing so much from virtually, but to actually provide them with a performance on the field and really interact with them before and after the game. I think the players are really looking forward to that.
And let's touch on your teammate. Even though the Eagle is in and out of this Wi-Fi, we'll let him stay off for now. He's such a character. I mean, I've only met him a few times. We obviously seen the mullet in full swing. He's got a girlfriend. Surprisingly, I'm not sure how that happened. But what's he like to play with? What a character!
Yeah, so Kyle's great. Kyle and I actually met for the first time my junior year of college. We were both camp counselors at the Army high school camp, Army, the college in New York. And so, yeah, that was the first time I was exposed to Eagle. We were taking care of a bunch of kids running around, trying to keep track of them. And so, yeah, he and I were both stuck on a military campus together. But that's the first time that we really kind of started to interact. I think something that he brings is he just brings everybody together. I think he's the type of guy that acts as a social glue on a team, which everybody needs. But more than that, he does represent that meat up front. He's a big boy. Who's also a very skillful rugby player. Like me, he's young and we've got a lot to work on and a lot of those foundational skills. But I think he's got the attitude and the foundational skill base that he's going to go a long way in rugby.
There he is, the Eagle. Back on. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Listen, I was only joking about you having a girlfriend in terms of, we're not sure how that happened. But Val, why don't you run through us briefly? You played rugby in a local high school nearby. Tell us about how you found the game.
Yeah, so I started playing in high school at Bishop Hendricken, which is in Warwick, Rhode Island. And it was just something to do in the off season because I was playing football and hockey. It was just something just to stay in shape. And the other option was to either go play track and field or to play rugby. And I just kind of wanted to do something that was physical and I'd get to hit people and I get to run the ball, which is honestly a huge thing coming from football and stuff. So always being told not to be able to run. So, yeah, it was definitely a no-brainer for me.
And listen, I didn't hear anything you said because I was just looking at that mullet just blowing in the wind. Tell us about the merch. You're the only player that has like 3 or 5 different items at freejacks.com. How did you end up with so many cool things?
I don't know. I give all my praise to Ollie. I mean, he came up with the shirt with the face on it. And yeah, he really has been pushing for all the merch and stuff, and hats off to him. He does a great job with it. So.
Okay, final thing for you guys before I let you go. Obviously, it's been tricky to train and keep active and keep fit, and the season also for the most part is 6 months long, the actual playing season. So, Stephen, how are you managing your training and keeping in shape?
Yeah, so I've actually been extremely lucky. I've been up in Hanover, New Hampshire, where Dartmouth College is located, and have had the chance to train one-on-one daily with James Willix, who's an assistant coach for the Free Jacks as well, head coach at Dartmouth, as well as Mitch Wilson, who plays for the Free Jacks. So I think beginning of summer, I went to James and we wanted to look back at foundational skills. So he and I went through some really simple catch pass, kind of redesigning how I pass the ball, how I catch the ball, some very simple kind of throwing mechanics, playing hooker. So we kind of went to, ground level of foundational skills and just pounded them into the ground. So I've been very blessed to be up in this great training environment and kind of really building the foundational elements of my game, especially being a new player.
Stephen, that's fantastic to hear. And Kyle, I've seen you in the community coaching and getting out there and showing the young kids how it's done. Tell us about that experience of the last month or 6 weeks.
Yeah, I've been traveling around New England, going to all the RTGs with TK and Ollie, and it's been awesome just to see all the talent developing throughout New England, especially being a local guy and having made it through the pathway to the New England professional team. just to see all the local talent and how it's improving is really special. And I think a lot of players in New England have something to look forward to, and this will help them in that way.
Yeah, really, really good. And listen, guys, I want to thank you for your time, for popping on. Thank you for all you do here in the New England region. We look forward to seeing you guys soon in action. Major League Rugby 2021. Be safe out there. Keep strong, and make sure you get your merchandise at freejacks.com. Thanks, you two sensations.
Thanks, Dallen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Our local players popping in for a little chin wag on the Free Jacks Live. We've got a couple guests still coming up. We have Dougie Fife, the Scottish international sensation. And we've got Ollie Engelhart, the merchandise guru. And we've got our giveaway as well. So stay with us. We're going to pop right in now for our Scottish legend. Keep those responses coming on Facebook. Keep the comments chirping away. And here he is right now, the man who has been in the sun for half an hour and looks absolutely fried, Dougie Fife. How are you keeping it? I see, yeah. Hello, pal. You got a short back and sides there, looking pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, no, we're doing all right over here. We're still fairly in lockdown in Scotland, so yeah, not too much going on, mate.
Well, Dougie, listen, local trivia. You're the only Scotsman we know that didn't feature in the movie Braveheart. But we'll leave that aside. Let's get back on your tremendous playing career. You represented Scotland in both 15s and 7s. We only have a few minutes on the show for you, but just give us some of your highlights.
Highlights in 15s would just be kind of those milestones, your first cap at international level, experiencing that rugby, first try for your nation, and then obviously 7s would be the 2 London wins that we had, winning the first championship in Scotland's history, and then to back it up the year after. That's that'll go down in a long time in my memory, and those 2.
And speaking of memories, we've had you on Free Jacks in 5. We know you're a huge fan of the movie Old School. Can you retell that story about Frank the Tank attending one of your professional games?
Yeah, so it was one of my last games for Edinburgh before I went to 7s, and I was at fullback about 40 yards away from anyone else, so I was all on my own, and then the crowd just erupted. Like, I've never heard the crowd go like this at Murrayfield for an Edinburgh game. And then I was like, what's going on? And then I just looked over, and this naked man is absolutely legging it towards me. So he kind of just froze. He had a camera in his hand, so we had a few photos together, and he kind of went away quietly. But no, that was weird.
I know we found that photo actually and put it up on the Instagram page, so that's pretty priceless, Well, we got some comments from folks tuning in on Facebook here. Great to see you. Let's fire some in here. That's the best thing on Facebook. It certainly is. It certainly is, my friend. Let's talk Major League Rugby. And thanks, Buzzy, for that kind word there. So, firstly, what was the impetus for you to reach out to the Free Jacks and sign for the next seasons?
Well, kind of Major League Rugby kind of caught my eye a couple of years ago when I kind of went pro, and I was talking to a few of the American boys in the sevens circuit, and we kind of had a few chat about like how it's going and the future of it, and then you kind of see some big names heading over from Europe like Bastareaud, and then you've got some All Black like Nonu who went over, and just to get the chance to play somewhere different out of Europe just was like a massive thing for me, and the rapid how rapid rugby is getting bigger and bigger over there. It's something that really excites me, and Free Jacks was a team that we got in contact with, and it's all kind of happy it's happened.
Well, I know the backline is really excited to have you. Now, the younger folks here, of course, in the local community, will you get a chance to work with them here in the Free Jacks Academy?
Yeah, I've seen there's 13 academies when that came out. That was awesome news. So I remember when I was a young lad, and whenever a player came down and helped out, it was brilliant. So if I can come along and pass on anything that I've learned, or even just have a bit of fun with them, I'm definitely in for that. And then
are you also taking English lessons when you get here?
Yeah. We'll try and get that.
For those folks that don't know, Free Jacks in 5, we're just making fun of the Scottish accent, which we love so much. But what message do you have for the Free Jacks fans tuning in?
Just to personally thank them for all the messages I've had. It's made me feel really welcome coming over. And I know it's pretty frustrating last year for the fans not getting to watch their team. So let's just get really excited for this one. And, we kicked off before we know it. So, look forward to seeing everybody.
Well, pal, listen, we thank you so much for your time. And one final thing for you before you go, what would success be for you here in New England when you get here next year? The end of the season is done. Obviously, you would love to have a championship, but can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, that's the kind of goal, isn't it? To get to that championship game, kind of win our conference, and then get into those playoffs. So yeah, I'm coming over for a big year, and yeah, let's get the Free Jacks into that playoff.
Let's get it started, my friend. I'll have the sun spray ready for you, so you don't get too fried here. I'll make sure it snows. Thanks for joining us, Dougie. You're an absolute legend. Get back to watching Braveheart that side, pal.
Cheers, boy.
Cheers, my friend. Lovely stuff there. So that was our Scottish international joining us next season very early, as soon as COVID clears. And finally in the hot seat, we're joined by an all-round guru, a man responsible for most of our online champagne. He's also a member of the playing squad. Ollie Engelhart, how are you, my Quackerburger?
Oh, it's brilliant. Good to be here, Dallen. I've enjoyed the chin wag so far. Don't be as brutal to me. I think we've had a few gingers. I've hopefully been staying out of the sun.
No, you said, well, Dougie was the one that could look pretty fried. But now, touching on that ginger moment, we of course know Mag is a big ginger fan. Is that how you got hired? I mean, I know you're skilled.
Absolutely. It's a steadfast rule that you have to bring on. It's good luck on a rugby team to have the gingers. So I stand by that. I think it's the only reason I'm here, and I've stuck around with it. My ginger good luck. It's definitely some good luck.
No, you look really good. So a question for you from the fans. They asked you, how do you balance playing and then, of course, working like 22 hours a day for the Free Jacks?
It's because I love it. I think, one of the things that I thought about when I first came on the team was it's just working for the success of the Free Jacks, both on and off the field, and really trying to get better and learn about every little part and have an influence or have an impact wherever I can. So I've really enjoyed learning as a player and growing as a player with the talent that we've had coming in, and that's an incredibly fortunate opportunity I have. And then on the other side, if I can, help grow something lasting, help grow something meaningful, I think that gives me a lot of passion every day, and just thrilled to be a part of it and find the energy to get up every day with a smile on my face.
Well, you've been a shining light there at the Free Jacks, and it's been a pleasure to work with you and an honor as well. There's some brilliant ideas coming out there. The personalized merchandise is one that's so unique and so cool. Can you tell us briefly, how did that come about?
Yeah, so the personalized merch, I think we've jumped the gun a little bit, but the personalized merch is it's just fun, right? One of the things we wanted to do is tell a story for every player coming. We wanted to tell their story, so we've done that with a lot of video. We've done that with a lot of the articles, the press releases, and trying to make it really personal. And we thought one way that we could make that even more personal is come up with something that encapsulates who that player is, and so that fans could see that instantly, and you could show your support. So what I'm envisioning is that first home game, that entire stand, the entire stadium is just filled with fans representing the players that they're connected to, and I think that would be the most amazing. Thing. Just having some fun with it, and then tell that story.
And speaking about telling stories as well, you've got various ambassadors as well that are joining on the Free Jacks. That's another unique, cool thing you guys are doing.
Yeah, I think the ambassador is something actually I'm really, really excited to continue to grow. We have New England is such a rich history of rugby players, and not just history, but ongoing players that exist that play for the Eagles, that play for the U.S. national team, both men and women, and it's a platform for us to kind of extend who the Free Jacks are, because it's not just the players on the field for the Free Jacks, it's every single one of us. You're a Free Jack, I'm a Free Jack, our fans are Free Jacks, the community, every player that comes out to an academy session, anybody that is repping the jersey, those are the Free Jacks. And so I think we wanted to showcase that everybody is part of this, and I think it's going to continue to grow, and hopefully everybody becomes an ambassador one day.
I love it. I think it's a great concept as well. Now, dropping some merch, so we're going to bring that photo back up and talk us through some of this cool new kit that's coming out. Who doesn't love a couple of little Christmas goodies?
This is an exclusive for the live show. This is the 2021 training range for the Free Jacks Major League Rugby season next year. This is the hottest new stuff that we've actually just got popped on behind me as well. We've tried to. Who doesn't love a little bit of kitmas? And I think this is really the best new kit that we've got in. We've just been repping it in the office and in the gym here lately. We've got new hoodies, new zip hoodies, which were top hot ones last year. The training shirts, the training range, absolutely fantastic. Really, really keen to get these on, get the players into some of this gear as well. One of the things we wanted to do is extend as many options for men and women. So especially increasing for women players as well, because we want the everybody to have that lantern on their chest there and really represent. So it's check it out. It's just gone up live on the shop this morning, just for this show. So if you're watching live, you get the exclusive opportunity to go get it before it sells out, because I think it will, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's good.
It certainly will, pal. I know we dropped the link as well for folks to purchase directly, which is great. Now, I know some people are also hanging out. They're going to buy that. Plus, then they want to know the giveaway. What are you giving away? We got some brilliant items here, and I don't know how you've selected the winner, because we've seen a ton of people sharing this on social media. That's a sensation.
Yeah, so we've got two winners. Actually, you like, follow, and share. And I think our first winner of the Free Jacks 2021 home jersey, 2020 home jersey, the best looking rugby jersey in World Rugby is Nick Patty. Nick Patty, we'll reach out to you via Facebook and make sure that you get that jersey. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing, and sending us some love. Hopefully you're a excited winner to represent. I think he's in New York area, Connecticut. So on that Night's Watch, represent on the border.
Right on.
Let's see if we can get that in. And then our second winner, actually, of an item of your choice from the classic range, I think is Natale Joshua. Natale, you've been an incredible fan the entire time, and love to get you one of these. And thanks so much for supporting us and continuing to engage and absolutely love it. So we'll reach out via Facebook and make sure you get some of this swag.
Yeah, who doesn't love a giveaway? That's brilliant, Ollie. And then final thing, people have been asking, they've been messaging as well. When the season kicks off next year, how do folks get tickets? What's the deal with that? Tell us.
Yeah, so we're currently in the process of finalizing our 2021 stadium. It's we had hoped to have a little bit more information this time, but we're trying to go through every option we have with health and safety in mind, so that we can have as many folks in the venue within Massachusetts, World Rugby, and the United States health and safety guidelines. In the next few weeks, we're going to have that stadium locked in, and founding members are going to have the opportunity to transition their tickets from last year to their seats this year. It's going to be a little bit of a different seating environment just because of the nature of the health and safety regulations. But what we're doing is it's going to transition over the next few weeks, and as soon as that is done, we'll open up to the can't wait list. So if you're not a founding member and you'd like to be, there's going to be availability to become part of our family, that founding member family, and you can find that at freejacks.com on our can't wait list, and that link will go up in the chat, or it'll pop up. You can find it on freejacks.com.
Ollie, that is awesome. We can't wait to see rugby live, to see the Free Jacks in action. Of course, you can make sure you get your kit. Thanks for your time, my friend. You are looking sleek. And again, I didn't have any other shreds for you. I mean, there's no need. When you're doing such brilliant work in the office, we'll give you a free pass.
Brilliant. You can always roast me. I'll take it.
Ollie Engelhart, thanks for joining us, my friend. He's going to be working on his pass all season, and we hope to see him in action soon. Thanks for checking in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is show number 1 in the bag. And we've heard from our Chief Executive Alex Magleby, Performance Manager Tom Kindley, Head Coach Ryan Martin, who is in New Zealand, players Kyle Ciquera, known as the Eagle or the Mullet Man himself, Stephen Hinshaw, Dougie Fife from Scotland, and of course you just saw the workhorse, Ollie Engelhart. Make sure to visit freejacks.com to keep updated with all the MLR New England news, including the Academy. You can check out our 3 podcasts, Full Contact CEO, Blood, Sweat and Beers, and Pathways. Plus, you can grab your founding member match ticket soon, and of course, all the merchandise. Please keep safe out there, and we'll see you next month. And as they say in New England, let's ride. Ball over the top, huge ball thrown there from Beard, and down to this Waka. Waka slips through, Waka goes around the outside. Waka is in. Such a nice unit by the Free Jacks. And Poland again sniped through. The little magician gets it away. Stunning stuff, Mike Sal. He just shredded the defense. Mike Sal off the left wing. Comes wide to Collins, the stepper. Hit nicely by Audsley. Ball still in field. Dewey has this. It's open space. There's a try on the board here. Beautiful flick pass. Waganabao goes underneath the poles, and it's celebration time for New England. Powasa Waganabao.
Just brilliant.
Playing for Southland to Waka with a dummy. Beautiful stuff from Bodine Waka. Chips it for himself. It sits up. It's still going. Flicked in field. It's champagne rugby from the Free Jacks. Diving in is Liam Steele.
It's up for Poland. Well, it's a room service bounce for the number 9.